you might as well put my real name in there
Right.
if you're going to use me.
Yep.
But yeah, I feel like like you said, it's a touchy subject. But I agree with athletes getting paid. I think it'd be good for them to get paid because then they can eat.
Yep.
Then they can have gas in their car,
But I'm not a D1 collegiate athlete, but
which is good because you can look at it from a perspective that everybody can't. So,
but like I look at all these players, like I follow a bunch of them on Instagram, a wide variety of sports across different schools, blah blah blah, and they all seem fine. Like they all seem like they have money.
everybody seems fine on
Of course,
Instagram.
but like everybody, like it seems like it already seems like they have more than
like the average student
Of
or
course.
the average person.
But they're not working and they're not doing all this. They're
Mm-hmm.
just doing the sports. They honestly don't probably have to do as much in school. So it's like they kind of have dude, it's so there's so many different sides. I don't understand.
It's different sides. Now, if I had to say you had to pick one, these athletes get paid or they don't get paid, which would it be? And then give me an explanation why.
So I think they should be able to get paid, just because of the thing. They bring so much revenue to these schools, just to do it for however many years they're at the school, and then they leave, and then the school just finds more people.
Yeah.
So they bring a lot to the school. I think they should get some back, but yeah.
And another thing is if they did get paid, the primary concern of college programs would shift from losing players due to NCAA infractions to losing players due to IRS investigation for tax evasion or failure to report income and stuff like that, because those are the types of things you don't know about when
Not
you're
at all.
a college athlete.
Nope.
So that would be a big deal too, just leading into that.
There's a lot. It's deep. This is a very deep thing with a lot of layers that they're gonna have to figure out. And they'll figure out as stuff gets implemented. They'll realize what happens as a result of those. But also, would they reinstate UNC's national championship because Reggie Bush?
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
So it's a lot of questions to it, but some of them are making the move.
Yep.
So we'll see what happens in
Which
the
is
end.
good. See how
Indiana's usually a slow state, so it's probably not going to happen for them for a while.
Yeah, we kind of sit back and let stuff happen, but which is good. Let these states start, see how it works, and if other states will jump on board, other states won't. It's like a lot of other stuff you see in this country.
Yep. All right. Well, high school football.
Man,
last week we talked about the sectionals, and they are actually going down this week.
Yep.
The first thing we talked about was Plainfield playing Decatur Central, and the reason why we were talking about them is because whoever won out of Plainfield and Decatur Central would be heading to face Terre Haute North
in Indianapolis tonight. As you're watching this, tonight is Friday. They play in Lucas Oil.
Terre Haute North is 2-7, and their head coach is Chris Barrett. They're coming off of a 7-game losing streak, and that is actually bad because they're heading into the number 18 ranked team in the state.
And Decatur Central just beat Plainfield 49-13, so they're coming off a win.
And the last game that Terre Haute North won was on August 30th. And it was a good win. They beat Princeton 38.
Man, that was 2 months ago. Today's October 30th.
Yeah, so
2 months.
They haven't experienced a win in a long time. They haven't scored more than 14 points in 7 games.
Man,
they've been switching between 2 quarterbacks. Ball security's been a struggle. They just got to get things going.
And they're about to play Decatur Central, 8-game win streak.
Yeah, and this is another thing. Decatur Central is home to the number 12 ranked player in Indiana, senior wide receiver Kenny Tracy. And Kenny Tracy has 20 total offers. That's the crazy thing. 20 total offers, but his top 5 schools are Boston College, Miami of Ohio, Temple, West Virginia, and Iowa.
We got to get him. Well, he's a receiver. I wouldn't want him to come to Indiana State. He wouldn't be catching a lot of balls. Never mind.
So just the fact that they're going to have to make something work on defense and on offense, man. They've been getting scored on a lot. As far as Terre Haute North Vigo, they've been getting scored on a lot, and they have talent. I think that it's just an execution thing that's been going down with them. So I'm
taking Decatur by it's going to be 50 to.
You taking number 18 Decatur?
Yeah.
I'm going to have to take them for that one too, man.
When episode 3, you guys, next week, we'll check back on that
if I'm wrong, you guys make sure you call me out on it.
Of course. No, I'm taking Decatur's at least putting up 50, and North Vigo is.
They haven't put up more than 14 points.
They'll get 13. They'll sneak 13 by somehow in Lucas Oil, 100%.
All right. Now, on the south side of Terre Haute, the Terre Haute South Vigo Braves, they'll be facing the number 2 ranked Cathedral, Fighting Irish. Now, South Vigo, they're coming into sectionals off of 3 losses. They only scored 14 points last game, and their last win was to Bedford North Lawrence, and Bedford North Lawrence, they're 3-3, or they were 3-3 at the time.
Yeah.
You know anything about Bedford North? Because I know you're from Indianapolis.
Nah.
I would assume. I
don't know a lot about high school sports. I just kind of, nah.
Well, South Vigo relies on the run game more than pass game. They've ran the ball 300 times this season, and they've only passed it about 162 times.
Hey.
Which is going to actually be a big problem because with the type of athletes that Cathedral has, that's a big problem. You look at the senior safety, number 25, Shiloh Mean. He leads the defense in Indianapolis with 44 solo tackles and 60 total on the season. He's got 5 offers, and I think it's going to be hard.
Yeah.
Then they have the number 2 recruit in the state, Quentin Cannon. He's a senior outside linebacker, so just in general, running the ball is going to be a difficult thing to do. I think that their quarterback is pretty good for South Vigo. I think junior Caleb Stoltz, I think he's good.
Yeah.
He has to be consistent. He has like a 51% passing completion, but I think that he's got good legs and he can stretch plays out. And on defense for the for South Vigo, they have middle linebacker Wyatt Maxwell, and he's a key to the defense. I think that if he could step up, they'll be fine. So
65 total tackles all season.
Yeah. And who would you take out of this?
So I'm looking at these notes, and one thing that stand out to me is Cathedral's ranked 2nd, but they haven't played in 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Cathedral or South, Terre Haute South.
They've been playing.
That's what I'm saying. So you look at it on paper, and you're like, man, Cathedral's number 2 ranked team. Terre Haute South, coming off 3 losses. You'd think Cathedral, but I think South could make it interesting, but I mean I'm still gonna go with Cathedral, but I don't think it's gonna be as tough.
This is the thing. Like South Vigo is not a bad football team at all. They have good players.
Yeah,
like I said, their quarterback, he's a good player. Wyatt Maxwell, the middle linebacker, he's a good player. They have a running back, number 25, Alan Hare. He's a good running back. He leads the run game. He has like 859 yards, but he's averaging 5 yards a carry.
That's huge. He's averaging over 100 yards a game.
2 times, that's a first down.
Yes, sir.
So, if they can move, it's just going to be Kenny average 5 yards a carry.
Against Cathedral's defense.
Yeah, so that's a whole different story.
And Cathedral's defense hasn't allowed more than 21 points in a game. I'm going Cathedral over Terre Haute South.
All right, now, Northview, they played Jasper. We usually cover Northview because they're in Brazil, Indiana. But they got upset. They lost 35-28. They were 7-2 going in, but their season is over now. If you look at Indian Creek and West Vigo, they played last week, and West Vigo got the win. And I was talking crazy about West Vigo last week.
I remember.
On the first episode, I was saying how they're so inconsistent and this and that, but they've been a different team in sectionals. I watched some of the clips from their game that they played last week.
You know what? I think Coach played our podcast at halftime or at practice during the week, and
you hear what he's saying?
Yep. And they lit a fire.
Don't let them talk about you like this.
That's so funny.
Man, head coach Jeff Cobb, he walked in there and let them know that. But, they upset 7-2 Indian Creek, 32-29.
A good Indian Creek team they beat.
Yeah, and they're going to be heading to Danville to play the Danville Warriors.
Yep.
They're 5-5. Now, one thing I like about Danville that stands out is their defense. They've got a pretty good defense.
No team has scored more than 21 points on them in the past 5 games.
And I think sometimes they catch teams off guard because they're overlooked. I don't think West Vigo is going to overlook them because teams overlook them.
And it's sectional time. You can't overlook teams this late in the season.
And they have this running back. Danville has this running back named Chandler Schubert. He has 1,092 rushing yards and 14 touchdowns. 14 touchdowns is good.
Yes, it is.
1,092 yards is good too, but 14 touchdowns, that's good. But like I said, the main thing that stands out to me about Danville is that defense. And if you look at West Vigo, I still feel like their offensive line has to be a little bit more consistent.
Right.
But they're on a 2-game win streak. They're second to last in their conference, but they're not playing like it.
Nope.
They blew out Cloverdale 2 weeks ago, beat Indian Creek last week. You know, their quarterback Dane Andrews, he's flipped the switch these past 2 games. So I'm actually really interested to see what they do against Danville. So who you're taking in this one?
I'm riding the West Vigo hype train. I'm going with them again.
I'm gonna go ahead and go with them this time too, man. It's actually because I want them to win. I'm not gonna lie. I actually want them to win.
I just want to give a quick shout out to this, because what other podcast do you listen to and you can hear Colts, Pacers, Indiana State, and some high school football sectional news? You don't hear it anywhere else. You hear it on the Chop It Up podcast. Not at all. So shout out to us getting you guys the information and talking about it.
Now, as we head into FBS college football, go ahead and ask me the question. I know you want to ask it, so go ahead and ask me the question.
Okay, so we're gonna skip the Georgia and Florida. Notre Dame, man, what happened to him against Michigan?
All right, so
this is a Notre Dame guy, so keep that in mind.
I'm going to be honest though. I'm
just letting them know.
So from what I seen, it was a rainy day, but I don't think that was that much.
You can't use it because you got to be ready to play.
Yeah. I don't think that was that much of a problem. Yeah. What I noticed was, first off, the defense, the linebackers, they misread a lot of reads.
Yeah.
And one thing I can say about Notre Dame that I've noticed in general is they haven't had a consistent quarterback like at all recently. Evergosen, he wasn't consistent. Tommy Reese was never consistent.
Is that coaching though? Because if they can't produce consistent quarterbacks, you know,
I think it's kind of coaching because you bring in these recruits,
of course.
But like I said, they need, because Deshaun Kaiser, he wasn't really that consistent, and then their new quarterback Ian Book, I don't really think he's consistent. But that definitely has a lot to do with the coach, and I like Brian Kelly as a coach. I think he does a pretty good job at Notre Dame because it's already hard enough to coach there. It's hard to get in recruits to South Bend because they get all that lake effect snow. So not only is it cold, but you need a 3.5 too. So as a recruit, you put yourself in those shoes and you're thinking, okay, why would I go to Notre Dame where it's going to be -6 degrees in the winter?
And you probably can't even get in because of the requirement.
You got to have a 3.5 when I can go to Alabama where it's going to be 72 degrees.
And win you a national championship.
Yeah, I'm guaranteed going to go to the championship, and all I need is a 2.5.
Yep.
So I like Brian Kelly, and I think he's a good coach for even getting in the recruits he gets in. But I think that quarterback has been the weak spot for him. And like I said, defensively, they got torched last week. They got to make something happen defensively.
That's just so odd because going into it, we were like, oh, it's Michigan. And Michigan is iffy, blah, blah, blah. Michigan kind of stomped them. So, I don't know. It was a reality check for Notre Dame, but they get an easier game this week. They're at Virginia Tech. So.
Yeah. When they're not at Virginia Tech, they host Virginia Tech.
Yep.
And Virginia Tech is one of those teams that you just can't sleep on. You know who Virginia Tech kind of reminds me of? Navy. And I'm going to tell you why. Because Navy is one of those teams that if you sleep on them, they're going to win.
Of course. They're going to take advantage of it.
And Virginia Tech is just one of those teams you can't do that to. So you got to take advantage of opportunity and make it work. I feel like, but like I said, Notre Dame, they're a good football team. I think they can handle Virginia Tech. They moved down very far in the poll, though.
What were they?
7.
7,
if
now
I'm not
16.
mistaken. So they were 7, and now they're all the way down to 16. Another big game for FBS, man. Number 8, Georgia, going out there to Gainesville to play number 6, Florida.
Top 10 matchup.
And I love some good SEC football.
Of course, especially this time of the year. These teams are both in the top 10. They're great games.
And then those are the type of games you can't even say who needs this more because they both need it. They're both in the top 10. They're both trying to make it. I feel like I want Florida to win because of Notre Dame already losing to them.
Yeah.
But I like Georgia. I like Georgia's talent too. I think.
Man, I'm upset. We won't even be able to watch that game because we got football on Saturday.
That's fine. That's fine.
I'm tired of these games.
I record my games.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. I'm tired of these games. The really good games being in the afternoon and not night because we got football to work on Saturdays. But